Hello, and thank you for attending today's webinar, Taking Command of Forensic Evidence, Best Practices for Leaders and Commanders. Today, we are going to focus on how law enforcement leaders use digital forensics to expedite cases, close cases faster, as well as reduce forensics backlogs. And really what we're finding here, talking at ADF, working with leadership, is that sharp leaders understand that digital forensics is a powerful tool, in their toolbox, and really is an important tactic in their overall strategy of law enforcement. But before we get too far into this webinar, I wanted to thank you. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for your attention. We know that time is valuable, and on behalf of ADF, we hope you get something out of this webinar today. If you do have questions, feel free to use the chat box at any time to pose those questions, and we will answer them to you. By way of introduction, my name is Seth Land. I'm the VP of Sales at ADF. I've been at ADF for almost 3 months now. I'm enjoying every moment of it, and I'm really glad to be here. Today's star of the webinar is Rich Frawley. He's our Director of Training at ADF. I'm going to hand it over to him in a few moments, but he is retired law enforcement and an expert in digital forensics. At ADF, his mission is to train and support our customers as they use our tools out in the field. And if you happen to be an ADF customer, then there's a real good chance you already know Rich and you know how awesome he is. So I'll hand it over to him here in a few moments, but I wanted to emphasize really a couple of key points and also kind of set the stage here for Rich. So at ADF, we take a lot of pride in helping law enforcement, agencies and organizations around the world, use our tools, with speed, and flexibility. And what we're finding by talking to leadership is that, there's a shift happening where, in today's, and all around the world, there's staff shortages, crime is on the up, unfortunately, and really sharp leadership is wanting to put, digital forensics in the hands of non-technical investigators. And so we're going to focus here. Rich is going to show you how on-scene investigators can easily use, tools, to quickly find results, make some decisions, and ultimately, start building your cases, faster and easier here. So we're going to focus on the on-scene aspects of our tool and how you, again, propel and expedite, your cases here. Again, talking to leadership, really what they're interested in is getting evidence, very fast, with an easy to use tool, again, with the idea of expediting cases here. Leadership is also, and command is also interested in how, these types of tools are deployed. So again, our mission and we take a lot of pride in this is how, and Rich will talk about this, is how we help, our customers in the field get that support, get that training they need. So when they're on scene, and a lot is happening, on scene, that they're able to get that evidence they need to, again, to expedite those cases a lot faster. So that's really the theme here and what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to hand this over to Rich now and let Rich, show you the tool, show you how easy it is to use. But again, thank you for your time. And if you do have any questions, feel free to use the chat box down there to answer. Rich, the floor is yours, sir.
All righty. Thanks, Seth, and thank you everybody for taking the time out today. Seth, if you can give me my screen back. Okay, so let me do that. Let me put me out here. And there we are. So I'm Rich Frawley. I'm the Director of Training here at ADF Solutions. 7 years here, and that's after 23 years in law enforcement. 17 of those as a forensic examiner and investigator, working on all sorts of crimes. So I've been out there, I've been there, done that. And one of the nice things is I started this way back in 1999, if you will, and being a one-man shop and being part of a task force, it I was quickly inundated with evidence, if you will, and I'm sure you all have a handle on that. So I learned triage like years ago using Linux boot disks and getting into computers all different ways, and then starting with mobile. And mobile's been the challenge, and that's where we're going to focus today. A lot of evidence walks away. There's a lot of instances where somebody has something right in front of them, right there, right for your officers to see, right for your investigators to see. And if they can't grab it, right then and there, and it walks away, chances are you may never see it again. There's a lot of consent, there's a lot of victim, a lot of witness situations where that comes in, or you're actually doing a case, like I said, and they're willing to give you A, B, and C off of their phone, but hey, you're not walking away with it, and it doesn't warrant you taking it, and they want to know what's coming off of the phone. They don't want to be surprised later that you downloaded 8 years of data when you really only needed last weekend's information. So with that, we're going to focus on mobile. Like I said, I'll give a little bit of computer at the end, but mobile is where pretty much everything is. It's coming across it more and more. Your conversations are going back and forth that way. More and more of it is end-to-end encryption, or these secure apps where you can't do A, B, and C. You can't screenshot, or if you do screenshot, the other person's going to know about it. You have data on there that they have, but if you have to get it, you have to make a full logical or full physical acquisition of that device, which is going to take hours or days of their phone being out of their hands, their lifeline, their support system, depending on who you're working with and what you're working for. So let's just, we have to kind of rethink a little bit. When I was in the lab and labs today, there is this is mine. Anything digital is mine, and I'm going to handle it. And understandably, you have units that are trained that way, that are done that. They've gone through everything. But with today's technology, and think about other cases that you may be working on that don't have digital devices as part of it, or older before digital devices, right? You allowed that person making the complaint to hand you A, B, and C that was relative to their case. And you took it and you made it part of the case and part of the evidence. So it's really no different today. We got to have that mindset that, hey, here it is. There's some messages on here. There's a picture on here. There's a video I took. That's really all you need. Investigators are smart enough to know, wait a minute, hey, this is part of a homicide. I'm not going to take A, B, and C if what that needs to go for a physical, right? Or, hey, this is a threatening or a domestic violence case or a car accident, and I need to just document, A, B, and C here. So think about that. Think about, it used to be when I was there, hey, I don't know this stuff. I could barely plug my computer in. We have that still a little bit, but for the most part, everybody on your department has grown up with one of these things in their hands, or a computer on their desk, or in school. So technology is not new. And you'll see here, as long as you could operate a phone and understand the phone, and with a little bit of training, understand, what's important and why you do A, B, and C, very easy to put in somebody's hands. What you're seeing on the screen is called Digital Evidence Investigator Pro. This does computers and mobile devices. Very clean interface, very step-by-step. If we want to go into investigate a mobile device, I have a device here. I have two connected. I have an Android and I have an iOS or an Apple device here. And if I needed to get something off of that, and I'm working with a victim or a witness on a consent, we're on scene, they're reluctant. Hey, I'm going to give you this, but you're not going in the other room with it. You're not taking it for hours. I have A, B, and C. You can have it right now. There's a couple ways to get things. Preview allows you to look at what's on that device in real time without really manipulating the phone, other than getting it connected. So you would come in here, we have a wizard that walks you through the process of connecting that device. So it takes one time to learn how to do it. It takes 2 or 3 times to perfect getting into an Android device, really. It's that simple once you've done it a couple of times. So once they're connected, they would hit proceed. And this is to get an idea if you're going through multiple phones on scene or something like that. You have a lot of phones, you have a critical incident that you need to start going through phones and decide which ones have data. You connect it, it starts making the backup of that device, and you can take a look in real time of what it's collecting. Now it's saying here it collected about 100 files. It's got some artifacts, but I can come in and start looking through the images. It's creating thumbnails, collecting properties, and collecting metadata. And I have a little bit of a delay here because I'm doing a live presentation, but let me filter this right down. You can see there's a whole bunch of different types of photos that are in here. So I can filter right to specific files. I can see the files. It's identified over 2,100, even though it's only collected 100. So I have all this information to start going through. That could easily be stopped. You see what's on there, you stop it, you could report on it. All that is saved right now. I saw A, B, and C, and you can create your report. Here's where the victim witness consent comes in. You have somebody on scene, like I said, they're willing. We have screenshot and screen recording, which allows you to pretty much gather anything on this device that you want to gather. Again, we have the wizard. Every screen you come into has that ability to let you in. But here, what you're looking at on the left-hand side is the actual phone that I have connected. If I hold that up, and you can see here, if I manipulate the phone, you can see it there. You can also control the phone from the interface. So if you're sitting next to a reluctant witness victim consent, they can sit right next to you. The phone's connected. They can see their phone itself, and they can see it on the screen. You can manipulate it on the screen with touchscreen, or they can go through and show you where the evidence is that you want to collect. And it's as simple as hitting this little camera button on the bottom that takes the screenshot. So now whatever was on the screen on the left, I have now saved here as a screenshot. If you want them to record the whole session, they just start the record button at the beginning, and anything that's done on that device is now recorded. So you can see the phone being manipulated there. They can group their stuff. They can go into specific apps. So I have Kik on this phone. Let's say that's where the issue lies, or where the information is. So I can come in here and create a group, take my screenshot. Lex is the person that I'm interested in. If I'm not recording, so there's the recording that was just saved, but if I wanted to capture this whole text, we have a scroll button, which will scroll right up to the top and grab every text that's in that thread automatically. So now on the right, you can see I have 7 pages of text messages right up to the top. And if you thought this was something, they can get their profile of Lex too. So if this investigation is going to move on, and you need Lex's information, it's easy enough for them to just take a screenshot of that. And now you have that information to go into the case. Secure apps, Snapchat, if you're taking a Snapchat photo and they're always afraid it's going to notify the other person that a screenshot's been taken, with this tool, it won't. Whatever you see on the screen, you can screenshot, and the other side will never know that a screenshot has been taken. End-to-end encryption, drone apps, secure apps. If you can bring it up on the screen, you can save it. So very simple to use, very simple to operate and get phones connected. I have an Apple connected here too. We have a couple different ways we can do those. We can actually, bring up the recording. We can just do screenshots of the device and not record. So I can just operate it this way where it's not mirrored and I'm not taking a recording, but we can do that as well. When it's done, you have options to just save your screenshots. And the nice thing about this now is you have a nice little presentation, the analysis portion of the tool. I have all my screenshots here that I have taken. A home screen, I took my kick, I took some password, I actually took a recording of the password being put in, and I have Wickr, which is a secure app and doesn't allow screenshots on the phone itself. Using our tool, we were able to get those. So really not a lot of issues that the operator up front on the front line is going to encounter using this type of method. So we have this. What I didn't show you in there is there's a screenshot that says, "Hey John, what's up? It's Lex. Thanks for the dog pics." Now, if that was my smoking gun, that's the evidence I needed. I took a couple others around it, kind of documented my process. We can search this now. We've run optical character recognition around it. So I can type in the word John and it brings up that screenshot for me. "Hey John, what's up? It's Lex. Thanks for the dog pics." And now I can tag that, make that part of my report. So you can see here, we're only gathering what the Vic consent person, suspect, victim, whatever it is, they're giving you consent, you're taking whatever, you can document that, and they're comfortable enough to give it to you, and you're comfortable with what you took. You have chain of custody. You're using this tool. It is documenting the device. All the device information is gathered here with each screenshot that was taken. There is the date and time it was taken. There is the device it was taken from, and there is a hash value or that digital fingerprint saying, you know, this is the photo I took. It's original, and you know, when it comes time to go to court, that hash will match, showing the evidence has not been tampered with. So you're worried about it being in the front line and with screenshots. But like I said, you are taking, the officer there is capable of saying, this is what I saw on the phone, this is what I have recorded, and I have my chain of custody. So you have that. Now, if things change, they get in the phone and they say, hey, I do need an acquisition of this. We do logical acquisitions, and you can do that as well. So here is everything that I was able to grab off of this phone logically, which is faster than a physical and doesn't take as long, with the screenshots and screen recordings. So I've made those things that wouldn't be part of this acquisition part of the acquisition. So you have that available as well. So preview, screen recordings and screenshots is really where it lives. It's simple to use. Like I said, when they get in here to turn on screen recording, iPhones do have the ability to mirror. So I'm just going to bring up my screen mirroring here. All right. And there it is. So now I can see everything on that iPhone as well. You can see I'm manipulating it. I can record. So I can record my whole session. If you're worried about, you know, beginning to end, what was done on the phone, even if BIC consent is sitting right in front of you, you can record the whole process, and that can go to court as well. So we have all this, you know, the ability to do these screenshots, the ability to record, screenshot during your recording. Even though I'm recording here and opening things, I can still take screenshots. So that simple to get the information you want. If you are looking at information and it has EXIF data that you need to gather, again, the officer can bring that up on the screen and record that. On the computer side, they come across a computer and there's information on that. It's a little easier to target exactly what you want on that phone and actually pull the files off. I mean, on that computer. We can do that on here with Preview. We can actually pull the files off, or with a logical acquisition, we could pull those files off. But on the computer, what we do is we employ our tool on what's called a collection key here that could be brought out into the field. And the officer would plug that into the computer. If it's live, they can run it live on a Windows computer. They don't need to do anything to change that computer. And then let me just, yeah. So they would just plug this in. This would be set up ahead of time with different apps, or set up ways where they can pick and choose exactly what they want. They show up first on a missing person scene. They'd be able to plug this in, pull down the web browsing history, the downloads, some chat information, within minutes, without having to wait, and without stomping on that evidence, right? Without changing dates and times and all that. So they would be able to plug this in. Sorry, I need to change my screen. There you go, so you can see it. So plugged it in, started it. They just go to scan computer. They can pick the device. It lets them know if it's encrypted. So that's important. Hey, this is a BitLocker encrypted computer. We may need to take it. We can't shut it down. They pick these profiles, or we have a different way to set it up where they just pick, like, I want web browsing history, information from the browser cache, credentials. They can grab all that information within minutes by just scanning that. If they were looking to collect just pictures off of that, they could do that. This report gives them, or this scan gives them, a listing of every file and folder that's on that device without them doing anything. So now you know what's on that computer. It doesn't collect it, but it gives you that inventory of what may be on there. And within, like I said, it's making that inventory. When that's done, it'll start going through. This is just set to look at pictures on that entire device. You could also target it just to user profiles where that evidence typically sits. So while this runs, like I said, it's putting it in the hands of those who can use it, putting it out there so more evidence doesn't walk away. And not only that, just think of the weight lifted off of a lab, or maybe you don't have a lab. This is going to help you out. This is going to get more cases done faster. And then what's going to happen is, or you're going to send it to a lab and wait 8 months for this stuff. You can still send it. You can still grab this information fast, still send it to the lab. But with that, let me just sorry about that. Okay. So money saver, time saver, you're getting more information, closing cases faster without having to wait. Simple threatening, simple domestic violence situations, fraud. Somebody sent me this text and said they did that. Things that just help your case move on faster without bogging down a lab and without having to wait a long time. Chain of custody, very minimal training to understand and run this tool. And like I said, very few issues in having somebody up and running on this tool. So there is a chat box and a questions box. If you have some questions, please send those through. If you'd like to see something specific on here, I just did a really high overview to kind of get you to understand this, kind of get that mind thinking about how this works and how it can work for you. Especially, you're talking tens and tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, to get a lab up and running. And if you're just one of those departments that's waiting and has cases open, you're going to be able to close these. All right, so when we are collecting these, I was asked about the effects on the timestamps for the previewed files. So we are collecting these as you would in a typical backup on preview mode. And let me see here, I can show you this. I'm just going to close this out here for a second. I'm going to open up the, that was the collection key I had open. All right, you can see here, review scan results. Here is the preview that I did. I stopped it early. So let's see what's in here. All right, so here are the pictures that were part of the preview. And let me just filter down to those again. So that's what we're looking at. Apple Photos, apply. All right, so these are the pictures that were previewed. You're looking at the preview that I stopped. I have the properties of it. Last written date is 10/28/2019. That's when it was moved to this piece of media. And the file created date here on a different piece was March of 2022. And as you can see, as I was looking today, is neither of those dates, so nothing was changed. I also have the metadata that shows me the original date and time that this picture was taken. So these pictures were taken with one device and moved around. These are Apple photos that are on an Android device. So you can see I have all that. Nothing with the preview that I did live here today on April 12th is showing in those dates and times. And you can see I have full view of that. Can we have recordings of this for reference only? Absolutely. This is, there will be a recording of this saved, and you will have access to that because you were joined here today. We also have a couple of handouts in here. If you look at the handout section, there's the data sheet on DEI Pro and the data sheet on MDI. Any other questions that come through? Seth, anything you would like to add here today?
No, only if anybody is interested in seeing more of an extensive demo, then just let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. ADFsolutions.com, and you should be able to, we can give you a further, more detailed demonstration of this. We can put you in the driver's seat of this to let you talk it out or try it out. We can sit down and have a discussion about deployment and how this can work for you on your front lines or even in just your investigators' hands to start getting your stuff done. So with that, I don't have any further questions up on here. Again, you can contact us, adfsolutions.com. My email is rfrawley@adfsolutions.com. Thank you for your time today. I really do appreciate it. Everybody's got choices, and you chose to be with us. Very much appreciated. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.